Hello there. It's Wellness Wednesday. Let me get to where we can chat a little bit better. I'm in the my office, which is in the basement of the house, and I don't have my lights at an optimal level, but we're gonna leave it. We're gonna be imperfect down here. I've got this big command center where I like to write and do research, but it doesn't. The lighting is not the best. Well, I keep it low down here. Okay. We're talking about, I'm going to keep this real light and breezy and get you guys some information that you can use in real time about having an attitude of gratitude. There's so much research around gratitude, and it's more than just positive thinking. So I wanted to dig real deep into that. Gratitude in my life has been a game changer. I am a chronic negative thinker because of just childhood conditioning, being around negative individuals that are always kind of either anxious or looking at the dark side of life and kind of coming from that angle. And there's actually a happiness. There's a happiness formula, and the happiness formula is 50% of your happiness in adulthood is based on your childhood and those that are around you growing up. Our cultural conditioning, our family conditioning, our childhood conditioning, childhood trauma, those that are you're around as a little person, 50% of how you think and act in the world is kind of goes back to that. So you could be predisposed to being a negative thinker naturally, or someone who's positive depending on early childhood experiences. And then the other part of the quotient is where you can actually hack and affect. And I always dig into that because I'm kind of a biohacker by nature and someone that does a lot of self experimentation. Before I do the work with my clients, I do it on myself. And does this work or not? Like, is this a true thing or not? And what's true for one person is not true for the next. So you do have to play around with it. And that for me is exciting because it's new information that I can apply. I'm a curious like a cat, just naturally. And just, you're able to see, does this work or not? And so with things such as this, you have to, with gratitude especially, it's I think of it like a habit, like most things. 21 days, 3 weeks to get a habit in place. And the other thing that I found is, like, if you're naturally predisposed to being negative, or you've had kind of a hard life or situation or going through a hard thing, you're going to want to double that time, 6 weeks. And then not only is that a habit, the 6 weeks, it's a habit, but then you've created brain neuroplasticity. You create a new neural pathways. So if you're stuck in that negative thinking, you are going to scan your environment to make that thinking be true. So you're going to try to scan the environment for the negative or the anxious to actually be true. And that's what you're on the lookout for. This is how we've evolved as humans. And we've always evolved to make sure that the predator, the attacker, or the danger in the environment, we're always scanning for that. But we do that subconsciously. And that could be if you are negative thinking or a pessimistic thinking, you're going to be scanning. This is me scanning, showing you scanning the environment to solidify those subconscious belief patterns. You can hack that. So gratitude, the research, there's so many books on this. There's so much research on this. I love that gratitude is hashtag going viral because it's a game changer. It's a health game changer. Here's why. If you have a gratitude practice, and let's say you are a negative thinker, you are going to be, if you do it at the beginning and or end of the day, you're going to be scanning your environment for things to be grateful about. And grateful is different than positive thinking. Grateful is finding the good in every moment and being peaceful in the present, letting things be as is, and to really, as a counselor, we're trained professionals to get people to look at things from a different lens, look at things from a different perspective. And gratitude is a natural different perspective. It's all how you look at the moment and all how you dig into it. And this is a practice that, like I said, for me has been a game changer, but in also the work that I do with clients, I can see, and they have reported this has really changed their lives. I used to do this online group coaching. I do it once a year at the beginning of the year, and this was one of the things that the clients in my group reported that they got really the most benefit from having a gratitude journal. One reported she just that was her favorite part of the day, is being able to kind of look back and uh, go through the day and get kind of specific about the points of gratitude. It's not just like I'm grateful to be alive. It's I'm grateful because I had a great conversation with so and so about this, like really getting into the moment. Because when you start to do that, you start your interactions with individuals, and the world does change. You start to look at a lens of a gratitude lens versus a negative lens or a pessimistic lens. And you look at the world more in awe and wonder, kind of like a child, like there's so many things to be grateful for. And um, there's always something to be grateful for, and you might just it might have to. There's some people where their life situations are so hard and they're so difficult, and they're in such a state where it's a real stretch to find one thing. But once you find that one thing, uh, then and it can be, for food. Maybe if you don't even like the food, but the food, I'm grateful that the farmer spent time to make sure that this food was nutritious, because this is going to help my cells provide energy throughout the day for me. And like kind of just digging into that. There's no limit to the end of gratitude, and it changes your perspective. So much so. I was reading some research, as I do, because I'm like, does this work? Is this if it's real for me, is it real for many others? And so the research says this research study was done on older adults with pessimistic, the researcher called it pessimistic genes. And I believe the median age was about 84 years old with pessimistic genes, like so deep neural lanes in their brain framed and looking for the negative, scanning the negative in the environment. And so they were highly pessimistic at the start of a gratitude practice. At the end of a gratitude practice, so at least 3 to 6 weeks, I believe it was 6 weeks in the study, because you're going to solidify those neural pathways, because you can create new neural lanes. It's such misinformation that someone can't change. You actually can. Your brain can change, and can create new thought patterns through brain retraining exercises such as gratitude. And so these individuals in the study, they went from being pessimistic for their whole lifespan up to about 84 years old to being low-level optimists. Low-level optimists. How great is that? So this was widely reported, and it just shows that at any age you can invite and cultivate a gratitude practice in it to be beneficial, as it has been in the research study that I'm sharing with you. There are, if you have an old school journal, you can write out gratitude, the things that you're grateful at the beginning or end of your day or throughout the day. Some people keep them on them at all times and kind of do that real time. I have an app on my phone. I think it's just called Gratitude. Now I have an Android, and um, this app has been really, really good. And it told me how many days in a row, which was like 100 and some, that I had done. That's how much I liked it. Like I actually look forward. Um, I did it at the end of my day, but I look forward to that at the end of the day, reporting different things. And you can do different fun colors, and you can do affirmations and mantras on this one, this gratitude app. There's so many different ones out there that you can undo. There is something to be said for actually writing that out, just because of the way that the brain works. As you write something out, and it kind of creates that. It's kind of a mindful practice in itself to create that space for gratitude. So I wanted to share this research and keep it light and breezy to get this information out there. Gratitude is your entry point into happiness, joy, and peace, and looking at the world in a different lens. Even if you've been conditioned from a young child to be scared of the world and be fearful, or to be negative or anxious or depressed or full of angst, and whatever negative connotation or negative emotion that you can attach to it, you can always retrain your brain. And that is really the work that I do with coaching. I'm a counselor, but I work as a coach. And I call it mindset. And a lot of individuals with chronic illnesses kind of get stuck are in those negative thought processes because life's been really hard. Childhood trauma, or it doesn't have to. When I say childhood trauma, I hate that I even have to say that word. It can be a little t. It can be a negative experience where your family moved a lot as a kid, and you had a hard time uh, having friendships and developing those friendships, or a bad breakup, or a job loss, or someone died in your family, loss of friendship. So many things can be traumatic, and it doesn't have to be like this big thing. Anything can be trauma. Trauma is anything that your brain doesn't immediately process, and that gets displaced in the body. Gratitude is a way to uh, be present in the moment, to see the situation as it truly is. Know that there's another story that you can tell yourself about the moment. A lot of our brains we're hardwired as humans to look at the negative because we're always scanning the environment, like what's gonna what's gonna come out and attack me. And we live in a modern world where an animal typically isn't going to come out and attack us, but another person can. Our own thoughts can attack us. A belief pattern, we can get stuck in so many different ways. And so gratitude really, really is a different way to look at the world. And individuals have said, starting the gratitude practice, it's hard to start a new thing. Okay, all new things are hard, and then they're not. And but once you get into it, then they're looking at the world in a different lens and excited to report back. So then you're looking at things with gratitude, and that enters a point of grace, which is an acceptance of what is, and love and joy and peace, and all of the other the yin and the yang, the other side of the emotional spectrum, that's also available to us at any time once we start to look at the world in a different way. So this is just my little tips and tricks. Gratitude is something that I use with clients, with children, with a study with older adults. Even if you are hardwired genetically for pessimism, uh, gratitude can be an entry point, and it's available to you. It is your responsibility to understand the way that you look at the world, and to look when you're stuck, and to realize that there's a lot of holistic strategies out there. And they're going to have to be new habits that you're going to create. You are going to have to create your own toolbox of tools that you use in the world, and the things that work for you. What works for one person doesn't work for others. You have to try some things on. You're going to have to give it at least 3 weeks to create a habit, but then to create those new linkages within the brain, at least 6 weeks. And by that point in time, you're going to see in real time how it's affecting and changing um, things. And you don't have to write it down. You can say it. There's so many ways to express gratitude: walking in nature, yoga, meditation, um, praying, uh, any quiet moment. We try to numb ourselves, and by being busy, we try to distract ourselves from the real work that we're really here to do, which is to evolve as a society, to evolve as a human. And gratitude is a way to step back and to look at the world in a different way, to be appreciative. It's a way to actually change your attitude real time in the moment. Every single moment can be reframed. And I'll tell you what, the work that I do with individuals, I could have one individual over here, and it's their attitude, and how they're looking at the world, and they could have the same conditions and the same life circumstances versus this other individual over here is looking at things like, this is hard right now, but I'm learning a lot. I'm really grateful for this experience because here's what I've learned from this. And they're using a negative experience and transforming it, transmuting it into this really beautiful, positive experience, which is helping them grow and move on. And um, they're not adding more negative energy into an illness or a toxic situation as it is, and they're moving on and they're healing. And that's all of how someone frames the situation. And gratitude is a game changer for reframing the situation, because situations are neither good nor bad. We are putting labels on the situation by the lens that we are looking at the world. So um, all situations are as they are at the root. And so it's how you're looking at it and the label that you're putting on it and that story that you're putting behind that. And the story that you're putting behind it is part of your story, part of your baggage that you're kind of putting out there. So our internal world is reflected outward, and we're all just kind of working our stuff out here on this in the earth, and cohabitating together. And the more that you're grateful, the more that you're gonna calm down that parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. Your limbic system is going to be calmed down. You're not going to continually seek the environment for negative experiences and to be in that heightened fight or flight mode. And that's going to calm your emotions down. It's going to calm down your inner body. It's going to calm your brain down. It's going to calm inflammation down. You're going to sleep better. There's so many health benefits to these holistic tools and strategies that we're really never taught. So it's not your fault, and no one's at fault. No one's wrong here, but really, really never taught these tools, and they have to come to us. And usually, by the time someone comes to a person like me, a helper, a healer, a facilitator of information, whatever label you want to put on that for what it is that I do, by the time someone comes to someone like me, it's because we've run out of tools. We've done all the things that we know that we can do, but we need more things that are available to us. And so just a reminder of what's available to you, and practicing it and applying it, then that gives your brain another way to go. Like, do I go this negative way every single time? Or wait, what's this other thing that I'm working on? What's this other way to go? And you start leaning into that. And when you start leaning into a different way, your brain's like, woo. And so it's just a new habit, and your brain starts to go this way. So, like I said, I was a chronic negative Nancy. And I hate, Nancy's out there. I'm sorry that I said that, because it's terrible, right? But just chronic, based on all, the life experience that led me up to being adult. And so having to put some of these strategies in place, and it's a game changer. I can reportedly say that, yes, this does work. And if it works for me, it can work for anybody. True story, sharing research, sharing tools, sharing hot tips. Gonna get back to work. Thank you guys for liking my videos, sharing them, supporting my business. I'm a self-employed business owner here. It's not easy. Stepping into my truth, you get feedback, and it's all great. And I appreciate everyone. I do have a couple slots open for the rest of the summer. I have about 2, depending on who's graduating and who's coming on. I have about 2 for the summer. Usually between 3 and 10 sessions. Someone is on their way to it. Usually when someone's they're stuck. I'm helping them come up with a decision. Because I do a life mission statement for every client that I work with, and then it makes decisions really easy. Resolving trauma, which resolves health, which resolves mental health, physical health. We dig into purpose and meaning and connection, what we're all here for. And so it makes things really easy to line all that up. So it's the whole person. And referrals. So if someone's on medications, making sure that their health condition is running at an optimal level. So working with doctors in the area or online in your area, working with therapists. If there's more intense work that we need to do, then I'll get your referral out to that. And then I have a whole list of other folks that I work with. Holistic precision medicine. I always use precision medicine if someone's on, even one medication, quite honestly. But if you're on 2 or more, definitely have a panel run, especially if you're on medications like psych medications and things like that. Uncovering root issues. Going to the root, it's always to explain. So it's very psychoeducational, meeting someone where they're at, and then uncovering at the root what's going on here, giving them tools that they use in real time, real information. My clients read books. They practice tools, they report back how it's going. We problem solve. I walk alongside them in their process. And we build up a tribe together of supports. Um, when I work with men in there, if there's a spouse, that then we do a lot of family work. And when I work with kids, family work, tapping people into support networks and getting them on the road. If it's an employment, if it's employment scenario, we're working out timeframes for getting a new job, getting a different resume, getting them into an employer that's not toxic. And so I used to be an employment counselor before all of this. Just chronic illness, disability, health conditions, LGBTQI friendly over here. I'm an ally. I work with men, women, families, little people, older adults, people that are retiring, all backgrounds, all income levels. I do pro bono work. I always have a pro bono case or two going at any time if money is a issue. Let me know. I barter. And if you've got a service, let's do this. Or we can work on a sliding scale. If income levels aren't, I understand this. Some of this stuff can be expensive. Let's get you on the road. I'll get you some resources. Every single person that comes to me, I provide information or a referral every single time. I'm never too busy. And I never will be, because if someone is that vulnerable to come and talk to another human and say, look, I'm struggling, I'm going to show up 100% of the time for you. So yes, I'm going to end this now because we're going into I'm advertising, but at the same time, get this information out there, tell them what people are about. I usually work with a lot of people that work with a lot of people, or work with people who have given a lot of themselves and they end up depleted and stuck. And either with health condition, physical or mental health condition, or symptoms, or not living their purpose, or they're going through a hard life transition, retirement, new to being motherhood, death in the family, sickness, loss, just feeling like they're at the end of their rope. They've tried it all, very skeptical, high performer, chronic illness, disability, multiple health conditions, have gone to the ends of the earth to figure it out, or at the beginning of a health journey and just wondering, is there another way? A lot of times people are kind of fed up with the medical model, or they're open. They've tried, I've noticed that a lot of my clients have tried like acupuncture or massage, um, or they've tried the medical model route and they just feel like they should feel better, or they have done all the things that they set out to do and they're still not happy. They haven't stepped into their purpose, or they're just kind of noticing some things and just noticing they're not in alignment, that they should be happy, but they're not. Questioning their career, questioning, why is being a parent so hard? I retired. I should be enjoying it. I'm getting close to retirement. I don't know. I don't know what's next for me. Or they've stepped out of their passion and maybe got lost along the way. I stopped. They used to be very creative and not anymore. And what is that? And why is that? I'm really sad all the time. I have this low level sadness in me. Unexplained illness, unexplained gut symptoms. I do a lot of gut work, and unexplained mood issues, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, all autoimmune stuff, headaches, and then so much mental health symptoms, so much. And I'll dig into the gut, the microbiome, foods, different diets, because there's a lot of different strategies, especially for little people. We start there. Supplementation, holistic herbs, holistic healers, mental health conditions that are non-responsive, PTSD, bipolar, OCD, and things like that. They've tried it all. And electroshock, they've tried. all of these different things. There's so many other ways to heal, and there's a lot of things that are happening underground too. So, um, and if someone wants to bounce off an idea with me, let's do it. Like I said, consultations are free 15-minute for individuals and then for businesses as well. Businesses are trying to figure out too. They've got populations of people that are sick and they want to do the right thing, but what do you do? It's hard because some of the stuff, pharmaceuticals have a lot of evidence-based research because they have the money to provide the research, and then some of these other tools that have been around since the beginning of time. How do you apply it? How do you dig into it? What do you do? Where do you start? How do you apply that to populations? What's the workflow? What is that? How do we get into that? So I'm a ninja at that area because it's the same stuff. It's just either top down or bottom up. I mean, to me, it doesn't really make a difference um, how the work gets done, but it needs to make some sort of economic sense, right? Cost savings. So the cost savings for companies, for healthcare, and for individuals. Hiring a coach or a consultant is going to save you money because I'm going to tell you straight up, if I can do it, because I'm not going to get into something that isn't going to work. But then, when you get out there, there's like, buy this, buy this, buy this, especially for individuals. It gets to be, well, it's hard for businesses too, because vendors out there say, buy this, buy this, buy this. And how do you sort through that? Do you need all of that? Do you need all of these things? And you don't. You really don't. Not everyone needs all the things. Everyone's unique. You're genetically unique. You're just personally unique, and you don't need all of that stuff. So hiring, I can only speak for myself. So hiring me, I'm going to help save money because I'm going to say, don't do that, but do that. Go here, talk to that person, get this, and then go here, and then do that. And then here's why you want mine, may or may not. And then I work my way up. Um, from the least cost to the most with individuals. And then it's the same with businesses as well. However, what's happening there is the research has kind of been rigged a little bit. And because of who has the money and who's paying for the research. So as a researcher, I'm saying this, and I know it's kind of a lot to look at that. Look at who's funding the research, who's writing it, what their biases may be, um, what interests may be aligned. There's there's not going to be a lot of research on you know herbal supplements that there isn't a big company backing that. So vera, I mean, who's selling aloe vera? But that's kind of a great example of like there's not going to be a lot of research for that. So, but it can still work, right? So look at that. Be a critical thinker. Ask a lot of questions. Be very curious. Learn to advocate for yourself. That's one of the things that I do work with clients with. Self advocacy. You're the expert yourself, and partnering with them, and then giving back the power to the person, and so that they can trust themselves and partner with their body once again. Because if you're scared of your own decision making skills, your body's kind of on a high alert, which is low level chronic fear, and your body responds in that way negatively. I mean, matter is energy, energy is matter, and energetically, it doesn't work to kind of be in fear all the time and not being able to trust yourself and your decisions. So I'm gonna end this. I try to make them short and then I go on because I get so excited because I love it. I love this stuff. Stepped into my passion and purpose and just getting the information out there. I hope this reaches whoever it's supposed to reach today. And I hope that if someone has a question that they are asking it, and I will get the answer to you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching these. Bye-bye. Sorry, dual monitors over here. It's not